Welcome to Vintage Radio Cafe, your number one channel for relaxing vintage audio restoration. If you like watching an idiot wielding a soldering iron, you've come to the right place. Watch Ray's attempts to fix wonderful forgotten radios from another era, way before transistors. Sometimes he even gets them working again. What could go wrong, right?
Okay, guys, so it's the next day, and now that the cabinet is all cleaned and polished up, it's time to start working on the chassis, cleaning and assessing all the electronics, and yeah, trying to figure out how everything works. So I just want to take a couple of minutes to show you something different with this radio, starting with the backing here, or lack of. There's no plate. And I've seen this before. It's just a vellum paper there. And what's interesting about it is how they built it. So usually when you remove your dial glass, well, in this case it's plastic, it's vinyl. There's two clips here that you just have to remove. In this case, it's different. There's an assembly here that slides up and down only to an extent, and when you slide it up, there's two screws on each side. I'll show you in a second, but this becomes, well, a little bit free, maybe half an inch, and that's how you're able to just raise it enough and remove it. So I cleaned this guy, and being plastic and being cleaned many times before, well, it's all scratched up. Well, you can see it more here around the volume knobs. Hope you can see the scratches. Yeah. But, upright like that with a backlight, it shouldn't be too obvious. All the lettering are gold and still very visible, very nice. So I can work with that. So let me put this aside and show you what I'm talking about concerning this guy here. So first of all, the screws I'm talking about are right here, those two guys, and you can just play with it like not even half an inch, which gives you just enough room. Okay. Now, how does this contraption work? And it's interesting, to be honest. It's ingenious, I find. So it all relies on the two mounting part and those two rods. They should be brass, I believe, and so the pointers, both pointers, slide on it, and it's very rough at the moment. So those two rods go through the two pillars there, and there's a spring here, and once the rod has been inserted in this hole, it's bent so it holds up in place. Okay. Problem is, in this case, this one came out, but this rod here should be moved like half an inch. So where it was sitting, it was touching this resistor lead. Yeah, boom, right like that. So what I have to do now is to fix that. And on those two rods, well, there's two plastic tubes with a slit or slot on each end. And when everything is correctly positioned, that's how it sits perfectly. And what they did to create a backing was used some vellum paper, and they just wrapped it around once on the right side, and they glued it to the shaft here, and the front part they glued it back on. So that's why there's so much. It's just Scotch tape holding the thing together. But still, it was functional, to an extent. Now it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So I'll have to do that. I'm used to redoing those things with vellum paper. I always have some on hand. As for the rest of the chassis, well, it's very, very dirty. You see the state of the piano keys, and those buttons are going to be a pain to clean. So I know what I'm going to be doing today. Let me tell you that. I've pulled out the Magic Eye, which just inserts like that. But when I get to the main filter can, right here, and the rectifier, I'll be able to remove this. This assembly is only held up by 2 screws, so I'll be able to remove that, so I'll have a better access to all the wiring, and I'll be able to take some readings to see if there's any life left in that, which doesn't really matter because I'm changing everything. You know me. And yeah, that's going to be, I don't know if I'll have time to start on the restuffing of this and this today. I have no idea how long it's going to take. All I can say is that just on the top of the chassis, just on the top side, I count over 14 capacitors, including 2 in here. All those paper caps. There seems to be, I believe it's 2 audio transformer, and there's 2 speakers, and there's 3 speakers. The 2 smaller ones are connected together, and when you activate the phono, the pickup there, you can select stereo. So I believe one will be sending power to one set of speakers, to the 2 small ones, and this one to the bigger one. I'll have to confirm with the schematics. But my point is, it's a small chassis, especially compared to the last one I worked on, the Saba Wildbat. It's everything seems tiny now because it doesn't have a stereo decoder. Everything is smaller, and but they managed to cram up a lot of components. And on the back side, I don't know if there's as many, but there's at least 7 or 8 or 9 additional capacitors. So it's going to turn out to be quite a project. Yeah, more complicated than I would have hoped. And I already checked all the vacuum tubes, and yeah, I was expecting this, okay? All the vacuum tubes are extremely weak. A couple of them were completely dead. I forget what they are here, but yeah, I marked them with red tape. Those are dead, and I don't have any replacement. ECC 85 was very weak, but I had another one. Same for the EL 84, which was the strongest one of the whole valve set at 80, which is not very high. But I had one, that I took out from another radio that was at 90. So same for the ECC 85. It was a bit stronger. So you see where I'm going there. If it were my radio, I would change them all. The ones that are still good, I would keep, in my stash just when I have to do tests. But I would not use them in this radio. I would buy all new ones. But, I'm going to explain all of this to Richard. And he's going to have to make a decision. Because it's going to be expensive. I mean, the ECC 83, the 12AX7 is selling for $40, 40 US dollars, plus shipping, plus taxes and all that. So if he replaces only the dead ones, it's going to cost him at least $100 Canadian, probably more like 130. And if he chooses to change all of them, it's going to be over 200, 220, 225, something like that. And I've told you this before. Anytime I completely recap and change all the vacuum tubes on those radios, it always ends up costing me anywhere between $250 and $350. That's why I always say there's no money to be made in restoring those radios. You cannot flip them like an old two-stroke motorcycle. You know, you buy a rebuild kit, and the motorcycle you pay a couple of $100. You can sell it for $1,000 or $1,500. Yeah, but you can't do that with radios. If you want to do a proper job and a full recap and a full replacement of all the vacuum tubes, it gets to be very, very, very expensive. And yeah, now I'm not even talking about the cost of of all the capacitors and all that. I have a few on hand, but I'm still going to have to buy some values that I don't have. The 0.15, yeah, I can rarely find them. And I try to respect the nominal values, but I do what I can. You already know the 50s we can't get anymore, so we put 47s. The problem is 47s are very low these days, anywhere between 42 and 44, and I'm not super comfortable with that. I prefer, when I can, to put 56. A low 56 would be close to 54, maybe 55, which I don't know. It's we can talk about it. You know, there's good points on having them a little bit higher, and some people will prefer to have them a little bit lower, or they will say there's no difference, which of course I don't believe. There is always a difference. If they chose to put a certain value for a capacitor, there's a reason. We might not always understand it because we didn't build the radio, we didn't design them, but you know, I trust the German engineers when they did something. We can argue about how easy they are or hard they are to work on. That's a different story, but usually the circuits are very, very well done. Telefunken is a good brand. I had the success with them so far. It's going to be my third or fourth Telefunken, and I would really like to see this one working as it should, as from factory. So I'm going to conclude with the capacitors. I took one out. This one, yeah, this one was supposed to be a 0.15 microfarad, and it tested at 420 nanofarads, so less than half of its value. And I think that's a pretty good sample. All of them, I'm pretty sure, though, those Eero caps are going to be under their values or leaky like crazy. So they all have to go. I don't have to test them all. They just have to go. That's it. I mean, some guys here, they don't even look that hot. Some are pretty well preserved because there's plastic there at the end. This one is bulging. But yeah, I don't trust them. You know this by now. David always says, take them off and throw them away and duck, because they're going to explode, jokingly. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Get it clean as much as I can and replace this assembly. And just to give you an idea how dirty it is, I've already took the shop vac to it, then I got it outside and used the compressor, compressed air, to get most of the dust off. And yeah, I scrubbed just the bottom. Oh, look at my finger. It's already been cleaned a little bit with a rag. Let me show you. It's going to be one of those. Yeah. I don't know if you can see this. So it's going to take me at least a day, maybe two. Let me show you the ferrite antenna. I did half of it. Guess which half I did already. Yeah, you got it. This here, and it's still sort of sticky. I don't know if it's wax or a plastic coating that was applied over the winding there. But this part here, has to be done. And it must have taken me, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes just to do this part. So you get the idea, right? There's nothing new. Okay, it's always like that. I think I've worked maybe on one or two chassis that were just a little bit dusty. But most of them are in this state. This is a 1962 radio, so almost as old as me. And yeah, my parts are starting to fail. So same here. I won't show you the bottom right now because the chassis holder that I intend to use is back in the shop. The welder's going to be working on it. I explained every modification I wanted him to do, and I made sure before leaving that he understood what I needed. So he's going to make the chassis a lot taller. He's going to try to put removable plates on each side so I can vary the height. But if it's too complicated, he's just going to he's going to weld them. He's going to weld the plates and make it a lot taller, so I'll be able to work on much bigger chassis. So that's the point. Yeah, I just wiped it down here and took a paintbrush to remove most of the dust, but all the contacts inside are corroded. Here it's, I mean, this is really my pet peeves, the contacts. This is oxidized like beyond belief. Has to be clean. When you plug something inside of it, Jesus. There's a few components I'm not sure about. Okay, let me show you if I can't. This one, I'll conclude with this. I see on the schematics there are many trimmers. Well, this is one of the trimmers. There's one specifically for balance, to adjust the balance from left and right. I don't know if this is it. It seems to be connected to the main power, to the rectifier. So could it be a voltage adjuster? I'm not sure. I don't really see it. I don't see any adjuster on the power supply side on the schematic. So I don't know. Once I remove some parts, I'll hear myself think, and I'll assess what everything is doing, because there's all those wirings there. On the diagram, they named the color for the transformers wiring, which you can't see right now, but they're so crowded. I can't tell the color. Apart from this red one, all the other ones, they all look brown to me. So a lot of work, my friends, a lot of work. I'm going to explain all this to the show, and you'll have to make a decision and tell me what he wants to do. If it's too much money for him, I'm going to offer him to, just like I did with Patrick for his Sabah wall I'm going to offer to buy it from him and do it for a personal project for myself. But if he wants to go ahead with it, my recommendation will be to change all the vacuum tubes and do a full recap. Because if we don't change them all, at least the vacuum tubes, and we decide to keep one, a low one at 76, 77 or something, and it doesn't work well, it's back to the drawing board. Then we have to reorder again and pay shipping twice. That's my reasoning, And when you try to save money and you end up spending more and taking more time to do a correct job, I don't know. That's not how I go about things. Then again, I have my limits. I cannot do 20 radios a year because of that, because it's too expensive. And yeah, I pretty much given up on trying to make money with YouTube. I mean, it's very niche, this kind of channel. So I don't think I'll ever have the as many subscribers as Manuel or David Tipton. So yeah, I can do maybe one every month and a half, something like that. And between jobs, sometimes I accept to do an external job for the opportunity to learn. In this case, I never worked, well, on this specific model, but I've never worked on a radiogram so far. So this will be my first try, because when all this is done, suppose that I get the radio going, then we'll have to see if the pickup is working at all. Maybe there's going to be problems. From what I can see, it's in very good shape, aside from a few cracks in the main roller, the main tire there. Everything seems to be well connected and okay, but I don't have any experience with those devices. So we'll see, guys. So I'll get back to you once this is clean and I've changed this. So talk to you later. Okay, guys. So before anything else, I'm going to try to remove this vellum paper, and I think I'll be able to access the wafer switch this time, I think. And there has to be one light bulb behind that. I only see one on the schematic. I'll try to keep it whole as much as I can. Oh boy. I don't want to rip it because I'd like to be able to hold it in my hand, the whole paper, and measure it for the replacement. Yeah, there you go. Pretty weird shape with a hole here. Okay, I suppose this was like that. Hold it, something like that. So we'll keep this and we'll try to reproduce it just the same. And okay, let's move in closer. See the bulb there? All the way in the back. I think it's taped. Or there's a rubber band holding it down. Should be a 7 volt. 7 volt. That's what it is. Let's keep it safely. I think it's still working, although very weak. So here is the, okay, it's there is a rubber band. Can't really see it. It is extremely, extremely dirty. I see some wafer switches here on the tone shaping side. That's about it. See the top of the switches? Yeah. So what's the deal with that? I'm sorry, the top has been melted here. Yeah, so it holds in place. But the bottom is open. Should also be open here. So yeah, I'll have to unbend this and refish it into that hole. There's two rings here, washers. And the shaft is pinged, so this should not move any further than that. Yeah, pretty flimsy, but still ingenious. Let's start cleaning it. Okay guys, so we're back and the chassis is cleaned pretty much to my liking, and the important thing for me was really to get those things realigned. So this one, as you might remember, was completely out. It was unbent just a little bit, so I had to realign this, and you might remember those two plates slide up. So it's important that they're both in the upper position. So I adjust them like that when I put the vellum paper, which I'll show you right now. And then I'll have to press them down equally at the same time so I don't rip the vellum paper. So vellum paper is here. I did the exact same thing, same dimension, with this little retainer flap. And yeah, it will be just a matter of fishing it behind the two pointers, wrapping it once here, putting a little bit of scotch tape, and taking the other end, joining it here. I've already pre-bent it like the other one, so hopefully this will work. I also finished the bottom part of the knobs, because this is the part that Richard was missing. He didn't have those. So those come from my sacrificial donor Tannhauser, which I'm not going to restore. So his were, of course, quite dirty. I did my best so they would match. Cleaned them, did the same treatment. Yeah, let me show you the back. So yeah, came out really, really clean. And yeah, I could confirm the ferrite antenna is covered with wax. So I had to be very careful not to remove that wax, not rubbing it too hard or making it too warm. One part that's always important for me is all the connectors. As you can see now, they're perfect. I say this modestly. I spent a lot of time deoxing all that, and I also deoxidize the main power switch contact. They were black like this tape. Same for the contact on the fuse going to the main power. I also did the base of every vacuum tube, all of them. I went with a little dental brush, deoxidized all that. So you get the picture. So now I can really start working on the electronic parts. Right after I reinstall the vellum paper, I'll start that. Canadians are playing again tonight. We won last night against the Maple Leaf in overtime shootout again. Alexandre Texier did an incredible goal. What a beauty it was to watch.
Alors Texier, sous les huées, il a plein de talent. Texier avance. La fin, vive la France!
So, yeah, tonight they're playing against St. Louis Blues. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so let me do this. I'll come back. Wish me luck. It's not going to be easy. And just to make things a little bit easier for me, what they use is Scotch tape. Okay, so this part cannot move this way because there's a stopper here. And but it could back up half an inch, 3/4 of an inch here. So they had tape there. And then you put your paper and put some more tape. And then you have to tape this side. So I decided to use just a blob of hot glue. Very, very tiny. So it holds there in place. There won't be much pressure on that. So I'll do the bend, see where I need to move this once the paper is there. And I'll put another dab of glue if I'm able to. Yeah, at least on the top. So I'll just have to put Scotch tape at the bottom. Anyways, that's the plan. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I meant here. Couldn't see, I was still zoomed in. So this one has no stopper either way on the either side. So once the paper is there and I have a pretty good idea where it should stop, I'll just put a dab of glue here. And at the bottom, I'll probably use Scotch tape because once the paper is there, I don't think I'll be able to hold the hot glue gun to it. I don't think so. So yeah, that's the plan. That's the idea. As soon as I'm done, I'll get back to you guys. Okay, folks, so it's done. This is what it's going to look like. Well, actually, you won't see it with the dial plate in front. But yeah, two things I want to talk about. I wasn't clear why those support plates had to be up for me to install this. And this is the reason why. When I insert the plate back again, the display, it has to be up so it has enough room. Once it's in place, then I have to press them down simultaneously. It's not a big distance, but if I do it more, if I push more on one side, I'm probably going to rip the vellum paper. So I did use, after all, hot glue here and at the bottom. It was okay. Second thing I want to talk about is this flap there. I don't remember when I removed it if it was placed at the back or in between. That's the way I put it, assuming it was to keep it flush so it didn't puff out. And yeah, it doesn't rub anywhere. Both pointers have enough room to move freely, not noisy. Yeah, the knob here, both knobs are rubbing together. I'll have to adjust that. Anyways, it was just temporary. So yeah, also, since the light is directly behind that, well, maybe it was to act as a diffuser, to put an extra layer of diffusion in front of the light to spread the light more evenly. Maybe that's the reason. So it could go probably either way, but I don't know what was the intent of this design. So I'll leave it like that for the moment. If it catches the eye, if it's bothersome, and I see it through the little lines of the display plastic, then maybe I'll remove it. I'll insert it in the back. But I don't think we're going to be able to see this. I mean, let me take the plate, the display. Let's try to put it in front. I don't think we're ever going to see this. Yeah. Has to go a little bit closer, but yeah, I don't think so. I think it's good to go like that. So pre-game is already on. Going to finish preparing supper and listen to the game on the radio again tonight. Hopefully we win. Samuel Montembeau has come up with, I don't know, a cold or something. He's sick, so he cannot goal tonight. It's going to be Jacob Dobesh again. So it's 2 games in a row for him. It's going to be a good test. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I really like hockey. So I'll come back when I'm ready to start testing capacitors.